our ancestors, and all those men leading the way in the battle against the current decaying state.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Chapter 2, Breaking the Nice. So back to the story. We arrive to the hotel, and for the first time, I get to do an up-close and personal inspection of my investment. I had a 5'4", small A-cup, flat stomach, wide hip, thick-legged Spanish-speaking 24-year-old Dominican woman in front of me, with cocoa brown skin, black straight pressed hair that came down to her shoulders. She also had a white, tight, form-fitting t-shirt on, in addition to a light blue denim skirt. As I worked my way down, I also noticed that she had white patent leather strap, wine cork bottom platform shoes on. I still remember sitting next to her in the orange taxi cab on the way to the small $52 a night downtown area side strip hotel. She was quiet, feminine, young, curvy, and after hugging her for the first time, she felt so very soft. After embracing her for the very first time, I noticed something. She had a peculiar smell of strawberries over a flame. Even though she was quiet and soft-spoken with me, I noticed that she was very sure of herself and assertive with the taxi cab driver when giving him instructions to the hotel. Now, during this time, my Spanish was minimal at best. I was heavily dependent on Google Translate in order to communicate with this soft, curvy Dominican woman, who, while sitting in the taxi cab next to me, leaned up toward the driver, exposing her lower back. While I'm sitting there, leaning back in the taxi cab, observing this beautiful woman that I have sitting next to me for the very first time in my life, I noticed that she began to lean forward in order to communicate better with the taxi cab driver. She had very thick, shapely, glistening, cocoa skin colored legs pressed tightly together in her denim skirt. She began leaning forward slowly but surely, more and more toward the driver. All while doing so, her tight, white, form-fitting t-shirt began to slowly creep up her back. Her perfectly arched back, exposing her pretty, slender, lower region, which deliciously dropped down and arrived at a very soft, round, and very plump rump. I leaned over and extended my left arm and brought her small frame close to mine. She didn't resist in any way. As a matter of fact, she melted like butter in my hands. If I had pulled her to the left, she moved left with no resistance. If I pushed her to the right, she moved to the right, no resistance. If I put my hand on the back of her neck and brought her down to my lap, she would have gone there with no resistance. I don't think that I had ever experienced that level of femininity before. It was a refreshing glass of water in comparison to the masculine acting, war-bound attitude having overly assertive American women back in the States that I had grown accustomed to coming into contact with. Needless to say, while we were both sitting down in the back seat, I was standing up at full military attention. While arriving to this small 2-story brick hotel building on the side street to one of the most popular tourist zones called Zona Colonial, there were several things that stood out to me. There were orange cones and dump trucks and road workers everywhere. The sound of distinctive machine gun blasting, asphalt drilling machinery was on every corner of that street where our hotel was. After checking into the hotel, we walked up the 2-story staircase to the second level because there was no elevator. I always study the expression of the hotel front desk agent when I'm checking into an hotel, just to see if they are displaying any signs of "I know what you're about to do" expression on their face. But this time, it was an older, gray-haired woman who appeared as though she had just finished sweeping the floors with a fluorescent green broom in her hand. She gave my girlfriend a brass key. We began climbing the staircase together, her in front of me and I behind her, watching her as she slowly made her way upstairs. After sticking the key in the hole and twisting it to the left, she pushed the door open, and I gently pushed her into the room after I saw and made sure that the coast was clear. I slowly closed the dark blue door behind me with the brass number 2 posted in the center top of it. I grabbed my girl by the back of her neck and very gently and yet aggressively pulled her mouth into mine. I remember stripping her down faster than an N64 on Christmas morning, 1997. I remember as well turning her around and then gently yet aggressively assisting her pretty cocoa sun-kissed body climb up into the bed. I noticed that she had not a blemish anywhere, not a scar anywhere. Perfect, I said to myself. Just perfect. I still remember the white painted wood frame headboard and the white frame on the side planks of the bed, all centered around a light blue comforter. After quickly removing what she had on, I also came out of what I had on as well, already at full military salute. I climbed into the bed right after her, and before she even could turn around to see if I had made it completely in the bed with her, I was already inside, making deductions and taxing that like an IRS agent that just found out an extra $7,000 had appeared in your account that you have been holding out on. Sweet, warm peaches and cream was the outcome from this first short, highly anticipated, intense event. I left her lying on the bed on her stomach while I proudly walked over to the shower to freshen up. After taking what was an unexpectedly cold shower, I dried off, came out, and told my girl to get up and get ready to get herself cleaned up because I'm hungry. And it was a 3-hour flight. She stood up and walked over into the bathroom. After I hear the faucet turn on, I look back and investigate the boxing ring where we had just finished round 1 to see what a mess we had made. After waiting about 10 minutes, I shout, "Estás listo?" to my girl, which means, "Are you ready?" She replied, "Sí." I wait about 5 more minutes, and then she comes out fully dressed and stares at me seductively and with an expression of respect and anticipation of what's to come next. "Vámonos pues," I say.